Welcome to This Week in Guns. Our bandwidth sponsor today is Stealth Gear USA, stealthgearusa.com. This show is brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network, Patriot Patch Company, and JWB Military and Brass. This is a podcast that covers the latest commentary on the firearms industry news, information, and buzz. You can help support this program by shopping on Amazon. That's right. Every time you click through our website at firearmsradio.tv, and you can support this show by clicking the Amazon banners or clicking the Amazon affiliate link and support pro-gun shows while doing your holiday shopping. You can also pledge your support over at firearmsradio.tv/pledge. We can pledge for as little as $5 a month to support the show. We have a great panel this week. We have Adam Kraut, Esquire, joining us from the Firearms Industry Consulting Group, a division of Prince Law Offices PC. Hey, Adam.
Hello, Jake.
We have John Patton of the Gun Collective and Patton Media Consulting. Hey, John.
Jake, how are you, buddy?
And we have Billy Johnson, president of Boxer Tactical and recovering video blogger from Amidst the Noise. Hey, Billy.
Hey, Jake. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Did you finally tweak that?
Yeah, we changed it from retired to recovering.
Okay.
So I figured I'm still recovering.
I'm still recovering from this show from 2 weeks ago. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. Your discretion is advised, especially during live shows. Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. If you're not already a member of the Patch of the Month Club, you might want to go check that out. You only have a week or so here left. Limited quantities available for joining up for newbies for the Patch of the Month Club. We have our December exclusive, the Silent Night patch over at Patriot Patch Company, Patch of the Month Club. Exclusive patches every month. You can only get them through being a member of the Patriot Patch of the Month Club. Also have some new pre-orders up. Have a 1911 cleaning mat coming soon. A participation trophy morale patch coming soon. So that'll be a good one for when you're like you airsoft guys. Maybe you're playing a match against your friends and you beat them. You can give them a participation trophy, or guys shooting at the range. Maybe we should send one of these to Matt and Whitey when they do their range time.
I think you should send one to Remington for the R51. Better luck next time.
Also have the World War II pinup ladies, some much requested pinup artwork turned into patches over at Patriot Patch. We have a 3-pack of World War II themed pinup girls. PatriotPatch.co. Positive stories this week. All right. Someone want to take the first one here. Bystander helps Remington police officer. No takers. So this police officer was checking on an incident that was happening at a shopping mall. Had a guy that was like banging on these windows and stuff. And he came over to the guy, and the guy attacked him, and the guy took him down to the ground, and a bystander came back and threw some punches at the assailant and eventually helped the police officer to restrain him. And if you watch the video, towards the end of the video, there's like two or three bystanders that come over to help the officer completely restrain this thug that tried to jump this cop. Pretty cool seeing people come to the aid of law enforcement here.
Except for the 6 people that first thought was to take out their phone and record it on their cell phone. Like
world star.
The first people on the scene were the ones taking cell phone video, not helping the officer. Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Yeah, and it's nice that guy ran over and helped out. I mean, and he actually didn't I mean, he obviously did help out. He hit the guy in the head, which gave the officer just that split second he needed to roll him over and get on top of him. But the guy was actually kind of like trying to be gentle about it and kind of, you know, he swung on him once and then he was kind of like backed off and tried to pull him. Like, you know, honestly, I probably would have kicked the guy in the head. But that's just me.
I would have been looking for a brick to hit him in the head with, honestly. I mean, yeah. So we have another positive story here. How's the Facebook live feed going? We got any feedback on that?
It looked good when I checked on it.
How's the audio?
It sounded okay to me.
Looking over there.
Let's
Okay.
see, maybe somebody will comment on it.
All right. I want to thank everyone for watching live on Facebook. You can watch live every Thursday night about 9 p.m., maybe a little bit later, 9:15 p.m. Central Time on the Firearms Radio Network Facebook page. You can also watch live on the Firearms Radio Network YouTube page every Thursday night. So we have packing heat at Thanksgiving, the Mayflower wheel lock rifle. Did you guys all have a good Thanksgiving?
It was good, yeah.
Lots of turkey. Anyone go shooting?
John, how was your Thanksgiving?
That was good. You know, lots of food, good times, time off of work, time spent with family. It's a good time, man.
I saw Murr had his big Thanksgiving shindig.
Yeah, every year we do
cool.
we do this thing called Friendsgiving where we invite a bunch of people over, and Murr's nice enough to have it at his house. Our old friend Adam Peeney is actually kind of the one that started the idea, and it's kind of grown over the last few years. And you know, it's just kind of one of those times we don't all get a chance to do stuff that's not work related. So it's a lot of, you know, local gun industry guys and our friends and things like that, and it's cool, man. It's a good time to see everybody and just hang out.
Yeah, I'm jealous. Wish I lived closer. So,
me too.
So you got to check out this Mayflower wheel lock. This actually came over on the Mayflower. John Alden was the owner of it. He was a barrel maker who brought this Italian-made wheel lock over with him 396 years ago.
Wow.
And the coolest thing about this is that no one knew where it was until 1924 when his house was being renovated, and they found it loaded. It was loaded, ready to go in a secret compartment right by the front door, still ready for use at a moment's notice.
That's awesome.
I want to know how old that house was, because if this was 396 years ago, and, you know, I don't live exactly on the East Coast, like, John, by you, are there houses that are, you know, I mean, this would have to be how old he was, maybe 350 years old? Seems like
I mean, it depends on when he built the house. I mean, the house, it's not uncommon to see houses built, you know, in certain areas here. It's not uncommon to see stuff built in the 17 and 1800s. Right,
1700s. But if he himself brought the gun over 396 years ago and it was found in his house, that's what doesn't add up to me. I wonder if it was like passed down to his son and it was found in his son's house or something like that. Because it.
What year is 390? I don't math so good.
I mean, that I almost need a calculator to calculate that.
I'm doing it. This is what's happening. 1620.
I mean, that doesn't even.
I call BS on that number.
Yeah, it doesn't add up to me at all.
But there's houses that old in Europe. I mean, or older.
Yeah, but they were probably built of stone.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of old stuff on the East Coast. There's no way for me to know specifically, but I know that there are houses here that are incredibly old, especially when you start getting into like Virginia and then up into like Massachusetts area. Those two areas have tons of old stuff, even older than what's in Philadelphia area.
Well, I know there's some buildings in this area that go back, that predate the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, but we're still talking 1750. Now we're talking like more than 100 years before that. It just, I'm going to research this because I want to know a little bit more. I almost feel like it had to have been found in his son's house or his grandson's house. I just can't imagine it was found in his house. They didn't come over from the Mayflower and start building houses. I mean, it's just,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he didn't build a house it didn't mean that he built a house as soon as he got here.
Yeah, but
In Drexel Hill, there is a cabin that dates 1640 to 1650, and it's possibly the oldest log cabin or wooden house in Pennsylvania. There's a
okay.
I got
I
just
found
got a text from
Wikipedia.
Whitey. I just got a text from Whitey, and it's a list of the oldest houses in Massachusetts.
Okay.
which is where this probably would have been.
The oldest one, the Fairbanks house, is listed at 1637. Beyond that, 1641, 1647, 1648. There's plenty more.
So Wikipedia
it's not
says
all that outrageous.
Says the John Alden House is a historic house museum that was purportedly home to John and Priscilla Alden. It is located at 105 Alden Street in Duxbury, Massachusetts. And it says there's various dates to when it may be built, but it looks like it was built in 1653.
I mean, that puts it right in that timeline.
It says, according to recent blah, blah, blah testing of the beams, it was built maybe closer to 1700. But still.
the oldest listed house in Philadelphia is from 1689.
There you
go. Interesting.
Pretty cool history, though.
I mean, a wheel lock gun by itself is cool, and then you give it some.
Well, yeah, exactly. Considering who owned it, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it was loaded by the front door. So who says the Second Amendment isn't about personal protection?
In a secret compartment, no less.
Yeah, this guy knew where to put his gun, right by the front door, loaded. Come on.
Bring it.
Black Friday. Black Friday's big seller is still guns. New record next check day for Black Friday. Saw another article that Americans may have bought enough firearms to arm the whole Marine Corps.
Yeah, I posted that article.
So, you guys buy any guns Black Friday? I didn't.
I worked.
I didn't buy guns, but I bought stuff.
So you worked at the gun.
I sold guns.
You sold a lot.
Yeah.
Were you guys busy?
And of course, so this always happens. We're a point of contact state. So we use the state police to query the National Instant Check System. PICS went down. The Pennsylvania Instant Check System went down for about 2 hours and then ran slow as heck the remainder of the day. This always happens on big days, especially when there's gun shows. It's notorious for that stuff. So it makes it really difficult to sell guns when you can't conduct background checks. So you have a bunch of people either milling about or I'll come back later, or they'll put money down and then come back some other time. But it made it tough to conduct some business there as far as selling the actual firearm.
Oh, it's got to be so painful when someone's there and they want to put money, they want to like buy a gun right there, and
they want to go home with it, and you're like, yeah, we can't do a background check because the state.
Dude, I mean that harkens back to like late 2012, early 2013, when you literally had to, if you had a background check in process, people would be standing there for hours, just hours waiting, and you couldn't even get into the system. At least now it tells you it's down.
I think that's great, though. It's been a record every year, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Black Friday.
Year over year, it keeps doing it every year.
But hey guys, it's the same 100 guys buying those guns.
Well, they must
Americans don't love
guns.
It's the same 100 guys. It's just the same. I mean, they're just they keep storing them in their garage. That's what they want us to believe.
Also had Black Friday Gays Against Guns targets NRA friendly businesses for Cyber Monday protest, and then Black Friday turns bloody as 6 people are shot in 3 states. People fighting over TVs. People even fighting over $1.60 hand towels.
Well, nobody ever.
We don't have these problems when we run Black Friday sales, because it's probably safe bet everybody in line has a gun, and then everybody inside the store has a gun. So there's a lot of guns, not a lot of violence. I think that's a societal problem right there.
gun sales to minorities surge after Trump victory.
So I want to point out something very, very funny to me. After the Trump victory was announced, I saw some incredibly liberal friends of mine saying things like, "Oh, I guess it's time to buy a gun, and there's not going to be any ammo left on the shelf because all the liberals are buying guns." And I couldn't contain myself. The laughter, just amazing. All of these people, I don't support guns. Hillary Clinton's going to demolish the Second Amendment. Oh, wait, I need guns. Oh, man. And none of them are going to know how to shoot. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Those are the type of people, though, that buy.
What's that?
Oh, we lost him.
Wow. They're right in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole the rationale for it, I kind of find funny. It's like the exact opposite. Oh, he's going to be a dictator. We need guns. Well, weren't you just saying that nobody needs guns for that exact reason not too long ago?
Right. That's the best part. Is it's complete foot in mouth. And they won't.
Well,
they'll
it's
never
not our
admit
dictator.
it.
It's not our dictator, so we need guns.
and like, who are you going to rally to do this with? All the anti-gun people? Is that who's going to attack us with guns? Good luck. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Billy, you're back. What were you saying? You got cut off.
I said, those type of people that are, buying guns right there that John was describing. They're the type of people that go and they buy a gun, they buy a box of ammo, they leave it in the box, they put it on the top shelf in their closet, and they never shoot it. And that's a lot of what we've been seeing gun sales for the last couple of years, right? People that are just buying it because they're either afraid, one, that they're never going to be able to buy them again, because, hey, maybe those gun people are actually right and there is going to be some loss. So I want to get my gun. And as long as I have it, we'll let them slam the door on the way, behind us. And exactly what John was deciding, people that I might need this gun, but they're not people that are really interested in training or learning more about their firearms or even more about their rights. They just want it because
so they have it.
You have to protect your vegan soup and your hemp sweaters. And I mean, everyone's got something to protect, right?
And more power to them. I would like to educate people that buy guns also on their rights and how it's important and why it's important. But I mean, if they just want to buy one and stick it on the shelf, I mean, it does support the industry, so that is a good thing at the end of the day.
It'll be for the revolution, comrade.
Well, who knows? It may be a way that opens more people to firearms lifestyle. They may buy one almost kind of tongue in cheek, but then they're like, well, maybe I'll go take it out. Maybe I'll get some training. You never know. Ohio State University, 9 hurt, suspect killed in terrifying Ohio State attack. Liberals blame gun violence for knife attack. Muslim terrorist attack at Ohio State brings calls for campus carry. Now, I don't know if you guys saw the media when this broke, but it was all over the place. Active shooter on the loose. Active shooter all over the media. There was even members of Congress. Tim Kaine was even calling for gun control.
Well, I think he tweeted that it was a mass shooting. And, I've kind of been reflecting a little bit on this today, and I don't necessarily blame Tim Kaine for that tweet. What I think it is a symptom of, it's a symptom of a society that has been that has allowed its perception to be shaped by the media, to where now when we hear that 9 people are hurt, people automatically go to, it must have been a shooting. It's no different than if you heard 20 people were hurt at a cafe in Baghdad, people would automatically think car bombing. And it's how those situations don't happen every day, but when they do happen, they're beat into you by the media consistently. And so then the next time something happens, it's your first knee-jerk reaction to say that, that's what's happening. It's the same thing. I did a video on the Santa Barbara, killer, the kid that drove his car and stabbed his roommates. And he hit with his car and stabbed with a knife and killed as many people that way as he did with a gun, but yet we still referred to him as a shooter. And when I made that video, like left-leaning websites, the Slate, everybody was like, oh my God, this NRA guy wants us to rename mass killers. He just wants us to call them killers. And they were like outraged at that thought.
Well, they were outraged because it goes back to the thing that we've all talked about time and time again, right? When people are, when they feel like they're being told that they're wrong in whatever they believe, regardless of how logical and how well constructed the discussion may be, when people feel like the core of what they're saying or believing is wrong, they dig in and they fight back and they freak out and say things that don't make any damn sense.
Sure, they absolutely do. And I think just that instance of how the media reported that was a mass shooting should be clear to us. It should be crystal clear to us that we're just not fighting the Second Amendment war in the courts. We're fighting this in the media. And the media has the upper hand because they get to shape most people in this country's perception. And that is such a powerful tool. And we have such an uphill battle to fight with that. And I mean, it almost is impossible. When the media is not on our side at the scale that they are not on our side, it is very, very difficult to win.
Well, the perception of whatever happens is generally created within the first few seconds of them hearing the story, right? Just like we all talk about the headline readers and how nobody will read deeper. It's the same thing. They hear the initial thing, and that's all that hits their brain. Because after that, it's just blah, 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 blah. They don't actually hear what's being said oftentimes. So they hear active shooter. That's it. That's all they needed. They got what fulfilled their already turning mill against the Second Amendment. So they got that little tidbit, and regardless of whether it was true or not, that went in and fueled the fire.
And then after that, they're like, let's not jump to any conclusions about the religion of this person or anything. And then they're like,
you mean the Muslim guy that attacked a bunch?
He's a Muslim.
Let's not judge anybody, and it's a Muslim.
We had talked about this when I was out with Billy, was that, as far as controlling information, and that's a huge problem that we have as firearms owners in trying to pass off a positive message. You don't have control of the flow of information on a mass scale, so it's hard to promote your message. And the small avenues,
have no control anywhere.
Well, and the small avenues you have limited control. It's designated to a target audience that already thinks like you, so that message isn't necessarily going to anybody who doesn't share the same opinion as you. And it's the same with the headlines. Most people get their news from just reading a headline. So if information that goes deeper than that's underneath somewhere in an article, it's almost never uncovered by anybody anymore.
Because now we have writers that are paid by the traffic that their article creates. Yeah, so they're being paid to write sensational headlines. I mean, the whole thing is a blank show, fill in the word. And how we beat it back, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we actually can. I think the only way we can is probably to educate people on ways to filter information, to process information, to think critically. And one of the real issues in public education in this country, we don't teach kids how to be critical thinkers, how to analyze something. We don't teach that at all. And that's something that I think we really need to focus on. But that's such a long-term goal to try to shift society. I mean, it's
partly where we're at is because they've had the long-term goal of shaping kids
society
to not critically think and to think the way they want them to think, especially in our collegiate system.
I don't think it's an intended goal. I think it's a result of people thinking that their opinion is the only thing that matters, and those people are teaching our children. I don't think that they're actually actively trying to shape this into children. I think they're doing it by mistake.
Some of them are.
Well, there's also some people on the other side that are trying to indoctrinate them into some other nonsense. I mean, there's some on both sides, but I think it's just a result of
which is exactly, you're right, John, which is exactly why we need to teach critical thinking skills earlier on.
Well, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think our education system is a joke, but I think you're talking about trying to educate people. I think what it's going to take is a complete implode of the current media structure, because it absolutely could happen.
Well, we're seeing it happen with this election. The media was totally wrong, and people are seeing that.
Yeah, but now we're seeing others rise, like Facebook, right? And how much information they're controlling. So it's just a shift of power amongst a real elite few. It really is. I mean, a lot of information has been democratized, right? But there's a way you can spoil that. If you're someone big and powerful, you just pump the channels full of so much BS, right? I pump out so much BS out there. No one actually knows what's the truth and what to believe. It's so easy now to slander the blogosphere, right? I mean, it's so easy to wage that campaign if you are the people that ultimately control the pipelines, control the access to information. And right now, it's shifting to companies like Facebook, like YouTube, like Twitter. And it's a difficult thing. That's why it comes back to people lack the skills to filter information. And I see it every day. Sometimes I even catch myself, someone who, like, I'd spend so much of my day like trying to like read through the BS headlines and try to boil down articles. And sometimes something will even come across my screen and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. That can't be right. And I'm about ready to share it. And I'm like, well, let's start clinking on some things here and check this out. And then sure enough, you spend 5 minutes looking at it and you're like, oh, wow, that article's totally BS.
Or it's 5 years old.
Yes, right?
Oh, most people don't bother to look at the date. Let's share this around. Oh, let's get amped. Wait, that happened 5 years ago.
Or they take the dates off of it. How many articles, like, there's no dates? You go click on something, you're like,
there's no author and there's no date.
Right.
Bush was president when this happened, but let's get outraged again.
Well, you know what? I think it's really interesting because I think it's more of a shift in humans rather than our culture. I think humans are going through this internal change of what it's like to walk around not needing to know anything. You have the world's knowledge in your hand, and therefore you no longer need to know anything because everything is accessible through your phone. However, the brain to phone connection is not nearly as quick as brain to brain, right? So there's this lapse of judgment and all of these internal things that happen in your brain in faster than you can think. All of these things happen like that, right? But when there's this disconnect and when it's in your phone, there's this shift. And I think that what's coming down the pipeline is much bigger than any of us can possibly imagine. I think that people no longer care about the information. It's all self-fulfilling, and it's all to make themselves into this fictional thing in their own heads.
Well, and narcissism.
Wait, you mean I'm not as cool as I think I am?
You're cool, Adam. I'm voting for you.
Oh, thank you.
You get my vote too, Adam.
6 charged in stray bullet shooting that injured woman. They must pay over $120,000 in restitution.
This isn't Lancaster.
This happened out your way, John.
Happened out my way too. Thank you.
Go ahead, Adam.
No, it's cool. I apparently don't live around these parts. Huh? Well, didn't we talk about this like 2 weeks ago?
It's funny because I know where this is. I know where Reynolds Road is. That's really weird.
I'm sure you do. There's like 4 roads out that way. How could you not know what road that one was?
So 6 people inadvertently shot a woman they were shooting a tree stump from a second floor deck from a home, and then they shot, I guess, I'm looking at this map. Did they shoot like right into another house? Is what happened here? Instead, like there's a pasture and there's houses on either side. And
It's hard to say. I'm going to see if I can find a Google map of that area and look at the topography.
I was going to say that the topography would be important on that. I swear we did this article 2 weeks ago when Murr was on the show.
Possible.
I think it just goes to show, and this is a good lesson to learn, that just remember every time you pull the trigger, you are responsible for everything that comes out of that barrel, no matter where it goes. And
that's exactly why I put this in the show.
Know your target and what's beyond.
Yep. And honestly, when you read this, these people are, I mean, they're getting some punishment, but they're actually, this judge was very fair to them.
They're lucky.
Yes, they are very lucky.
I would take $120,000 fine in a probation program where I don't lose my Second Amendment rights and not go to prison for shooting somebody in the neck. Absolutely.
And the other family was actually very like, hey, we know you didn't do this on purpose. Like,
we're just glad she's alive.
We're glad she's alive. Like, this actually, for those people, this story couldn't be any better.
Right.
I'm trying to find the Google Maps topography thing. I don't know how to use this anymore. I'm apparently stupid, but it looks fairly flat.
Like, shocking. It's Google.
Right. It also.
I mean, it's very difficult to tell without going there, but there's a train track between these two houses. Like, if they're shooting down at something and there's no berm, that's not safe. Simple as that.
Yeah, that looks to be the case. No berm, no nothing.
They got ARD, it looks like.
What?
Accelerated Rehabilitation Disposition Program. Basically, your charges are dismissed if you successfully complete the program, and based upon the language in the article there, it sounds what they got. So they got a really good deal.
Chicago police gun squeeze. Lawsuit claims police trade freedom for firearms.
What?
Happened in Chicago, where police are bartering with arrestees, telling them that they'll let them off the hook if they'll turn in some guns to get the guns off the street. And apparently they caught this on video.
I feel like that's a little backwards. Shouldn't they be doing both? Like taking people off the streets that are bad and guns that are illegal?
Yeah, this was a few of the officers in that article, so I can't really say that this is, can't speculate if this is more widespread than what happened with those.
This is not like a department thing.
No.
The department policy.
I missed that part.
This is where two guys were arrested, and they told the one guy, we're letting you go. We'll let your buddy go if you come back and bring us a gun.
Oh my God.
So basically it's kind of like holding someone, you're kind of holding someone prisoner and saying, go bring us a gun. Now here's the first, there's lots of problems with it, first of all, but second of all, you're telling someone to just go and get a gun. The kid said, I don't even have a gun. So he had to go and buy a gun. Like how
they're extorting him.
Yeah. Like how absurd is this? Yeah. I mean,
I have this water pistol. Will this work?
So who knows if there was some pressure. I mean, obviously, I would imagine a lot of departments in Chicago are under a lot of pressure to try to curb the violence. And, when you see things like this, people might be getting creative. But at the end of the day, obviously, this is not legal. And I'm assuming those officers are probably going to be punished, I would assume.
Disciplined.
Slap on the wrist.
Kamala Harris, California DOJ issues strict guidelines for California's FFLs regarding assault. I should do air quotes here. Assault weapons, sales and transfers.
Yeah, this sounds like a whole bunch of I'm just going to scare you to death kind of rhetoric, and make this so scary that you don't want to buy one of these guns. I mean, it's probably effective. But to me, when I read through all of that, it really sounds like someone who's almost abusing their office to scare the crap out of people that have a constitutional right to keep and bear arms.
Apparently not in California.
Well, yeah, of course we know that.
I don't think that there has been any one topic that Adam and I have been asked about more than the California gun laws. It is insane how many people don't understand it, including me. It is unfathomable how they're just creating. They're basically what is it called, Adam? When you're the law is impossible to follow or something like that. You had talked about it in a not so distant episode ago.
Unconstitutionally vague.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, that's essentially what's happening in California. Nobody knows how the hell to follow the laws.
Can it also go the other way, Adam, to where it's so complex and you make it so complex and tedious to where anybody could be violating the law?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know if there's a theory out there for it. I wouldn't say it's unconstitutionally vague. Unconstitutionally vague is where you create like what's the easiest way to describe this? You create some kind of standard that is so you have no idea whether or not you're complying with it. That would be unconstitutionally vague because you have no idea whether or not you could actually comply or not. It's not specific enough to give you the information you'd need if you read the law in order to follow it. The California thing with at least this DOJ issuing stuff, what I found interesting, and I don't know if it's out of this article or not. Well, it was in this article as well. First, I read that if you don't have the bullet button installed on your gun by the end of December, that's it. No dice. But what I found really interesting is that anybody who buys a gun and doesn't, I guess, doesn't go through whatever the DROS is by the end of December, and it is delayed, or there's not a determination provided by the Department of Justice in California by the end of December, that person, if they're later cleared, they can't have that firearm delivered to them. So that's going to cause problems for people that theoretically would have no issues, or they get caught up, it gets delayed, or there's some kind of issue with their system, and now it goes down or what have you, and then January 1, tough, sucks for you guys. That's terrible.
Yeah, well, so I bought my first gun in California when I lived in California, and I didn't know a lot about the laws before I bought a gun. I wanted a gun. I took a class and I decided to go down and buy a gun. And so I just thought all the stuff you had to go through in California was normal, right? They're like, okay, well, come back in 10 days. And I'm like, okay, I'll come back in 10 days. Sounds good. Right. And then they go, okay, you got to do the safety test and this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do the safety test. And then I ended up, Adam, you know this, I moved out to Pennsylvania, and I called before I moved to Pennsylvania. I'm like, hey, so I'm moving to Pennsylvania, and this was the county sheriff. I'm like, so what do I have to do with my guns? And they're like, what are you talking about? This is like the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. And they're like, just bring them. I'm like, so I just get to bring them. I'm like, this sounds shady, right? And so funny. So many people that are just like, lived in California their whole life, don't really pay attention to politics. They just think like California is normal. Like this is
it's not.
It's such a messed up state.
It's such an anomaly.
I mean, it's such a beautiful state. The scenery is so amazing. There's so much culture. It's so great. And then the politics and the laws and the taxes are so rotten. And the politicians are so corrupt. God. So for my California friends out there, I feel for you now that I've lived in other parts of the country.
Well, that's the unfortunate part.
California Appellate Court reverses dismissal of the NSSF and SAMI suit to block enforcement of microstamping law. This is something that where there's no existing microstamping technology that meets the requirements of this law. That's like the biggest issue here. If this law were to pass, were to become in effect, there's no technology possible to, I don't know, is this kind of what you were talking about, Adam? There's no way to.
No, because this puts out
this.
specific. Sets forth a specific criteria, so you're aware of what it. Just because it's impossible to do doesn't mean that. Now I don't know what grounds I haven't read the lawsuit, so I don't know what they're seeking to enjoin it on, other than it's impossible. But it would be like. I'd have to go look for an example. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but this is a specific. Here's what the law is. Here's what you have to do to comply, and the industry's like, we can't do that. It's just it's not possible to do that. Not that they don't have any idea of how to do it.
Right. It'd be like almost like saying all cars have to drive a negative 5 mile an hour per hour speed limit in school zones or something completely ridiculous that can't be done.
Starting tomorrow, all cars are required to run on water.
Right. Something like that. So this
that's
is
impossible.
a win for the NSSF and Sammy. We'll see where it goes after this. But yeah, California, you guys have a uphill battle. And, Billy, what you were saying about how you just thought it was normal back then. I wonder if that's part of the problem in California. People are so kind of disconnected, at least some people, not all gun owners, but that having restricted rights is kind of normal, so that maybe they don't take these new restrictions as seriously as people do in more freedom-loving states. I don't know.
Well, I just think I never owned a gun before. No one really in my family had a gun. So when I lived in California, I didn't really have a history of it. I didn't know much about it. So I just kind of assumed this is probably how it is. Right. Okay. So every time I go somewhere, I got to make sure my gun's locked, my ammo separately. And, I remember when I first got my gun, I was so paranoid about going to the range to make sure that everything was perfect because, I could be charged with a crime. And I was like, oh, wow, this is really serious. And obviously handling a firearm and owning a firearm is serious, and you should use caution. But the fact that, this thing's got to be locked up and this has to be separate from this. And I just kind of thought that's how it was. And then, when I lived in Pennsylvania, I'm like, wow, it's this easy to get a concealed carry permit, where in Los Angeles County, unless you're Ben Affleck, you don't get one. So I think there's a lot of people in California that just think that's how it is. And I think we all know this, so many people are sold these laws because they believe it's going to make them safer. And that right there is an extremely powerful statement, because 95% of this country wants to always feel safe. And they believe politicians are going to make them, they're going to provide that safety, right? If we pass this law, I can make you safe. I mean, that's what they all do. And it works. People buy it. They eat that crap up.
Safety is an illusion and people love it.
Yep.
It's sad. Yeah. This lawsuit could shatter all federal gun control laws. Companion story: Kansas state and federal agencies deliberate over constitutional right to homemade silencers.
I really don't like this title.
The first one or second?
The first one. It's such a damn clickbait title. It could shatter all the laws. No, it can't. Shut up.
But I sound so cool when I read it. Come on. So, Adam, you're going to have to walk us through this. First, I don't know. Can you summarize what's going on here, and then what?
Yeah. So Kansas passed a law. When did they do that? 2013. And I guess basically, if I recall correctly, the law said that for things made in Kansas that remained in Kansas, federal firearms laws couldn't apply to it because it's not affecting interstate commerce. if I recall. It's been a while since I looked at it. So basically, this guy manufactured silencers made in Kansas and stamped them made in Kansas and sold it to another guy that was in Kansas, and the other guy got charged with possessing an unregistered silencer, and the other guy who made him got charged with the manufacture, sale, and possession of unregistered firearms and silencers. So basically, it's a states' rights issue, which is an interesting one because it the 10th Amendment's called into question here, as well as the supremacy clause as to what the federal government can do. And if you look at some of the cases from the Supreme Court as far as what interstate commerce is, I mean, it's at this point it's pretty much everything except for what was Lopez, US v. Lopez, where they found that anyway. So he got convicted. I believe they're appealing it up to the circuit court. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not the Supreme Court, after the circuit court issues a decision, which who knows how that'll go, whether or not they'll take it up to decide on it. And the way the court sits right now, presumably by then Trump will have a nominee on the court, possibly, and that could change the balance of it. But it's going to be, it could have some interesting effects on legislation, and the question then becomes as to how far the court would shape its opinion to allow it to go. And I guess theoretically, yeah, it could do away with a lot of federal gun control laws, but I'm not very certain that the court's going to want to take that power away from the federal government.
They're not just going to allow that to happen. They're not going to do that.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, they're stupid sometimes, but they're just not going to do something that's going to undermine a whole bunch of federal gun laws. They're just not going to do it.
Right, and I'd be inclined to agree with you that I think that would be a very difficult one. And what would be interesting is if it would require the court to grant certiorari to even hear it. So that would be the first hurdle. If they do, then it'd be interesting to see how they shape their opinion and craft it to walk that fine line, because this has other effects, not just related to guns, but more 10th Amendment implications.
It certainly will be interesting.
So going back to California story here, Greg Bakken, the former host of Tactical Paradise here on the Firearms Radio Network, he lives out in California. His statement for the California ordeal is, "We are doomed. They are disconnected and have no clue what is really happening. They're convinced they aren't trying to take our guns away."
I'll just throw this in here. My boss in Josh over at the law firm has commented on the Facebook one. Any right not reserved by the United States government is reserved to the states. The Second Amendment, an inalienable right, shall not be infringed. So we'll see how this turns out. He and I had talked about this a little bit in last week, 2 weeks ago. But
Stealth Gear USA helps make this episode possible. They have the new SG Revolution line. I've got one here, the new SG Revolution line of holsters, lightweight, affordable carry holsters, new slim and breathable polymer backing, hand built in America. Every Stealth Gear USA is custom molded to your exact firearm. John, you've worn some Stealth Gears, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I have that exact same holster you're holding in your hand, and it's super comfy, man. I wasn't sure because I had their older, I forget what the material's called now. I had one of their older holsters, and it was pretty good. And this new one, it's just comfy. I just dig it. It's kind of that material that's like part of your shoe sole. It's soft and flexible, but I expected it to be way stiffer than it was, and it just kind of fit right away. I dig it.
So awesome. 45-day, no questions asked guarantee. And we have promo code TWIG, TWIG, for 10% off any order. That's right. Promo code TWIG for 10% off any order at stealthgearusa.com. So check it out. DOJ releases plans to allow soldiers to carry arms on base. So that's sounds like a good thing.
Yeah.
About time.
Yeah, it's about time. I mean, you know, we train those in our military to go to faraway lands and defend this nation and fight. And all of a sudden they come back to their base and they're not allowed to defend themselves. So it's pretty ridiculous. And as anybody knows, they have a target on their back. So like any other citizen in this country, they should have a right to defend themselves. I know obviously making the military makes that a little bit different, but I'm definitely glad to see this moving forward.
And Marines to outfit an entire battalion with suppressors.
I wonder who's going to get that contract.
I was thinking the same thing, man. I would imagine it would have to be split up.
I would not. I would bet that Surefire's going to get it.
Why do you think that?
They've got deep roots in military suppressors already.
They do. Okay.
You know that they've been kind of one of the go-to brands, and I'm sure there's some other brands in use in other whatever. Somebody will tell me I'm wrong, but generally the Surefire stuff is what I've seen in military use, and I'd be surprised if they went with somebody else.
Knights Armament, AAC, the M42000 has a NSN number.
Okay, there you go.
Katie Couric seeks to have the $12 million under the gun defamation lawsuit dismissed.
You don't say.
This whole article, all the statements from her lawyers are hysterical because they're all like, well, yeah, in this one segment, we really didn't change much. And in the overall documentary, we actually painted these pro-gun people in a positive light. Oh, so you want to use other segments of the documentary where you didn't defame them to offset where, obviously the lawsuit's taken place in that area where 10 seconds was cut into their statement. So I think it's really funny because they keep pointing out, well, at other areas in the documentary, everything's okay, which is doesn't change the fact that
that's like
I mean,
that's like somebody said, well, yeah, I totally killed a bunch of people, but I also didn't kill a bunch of other people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
amazing.
Defamation is defamation. If the judges, who knows what's going to happen there, but it doesn't change the fact that there is a section of the documentary which you clearly made people seem like they did not have an answer to when they clearly had an answer to it.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see where that ends up. Suppressor legislation bill heads to Illinois Senate floor. It's out of committee in Illinois. Suppressor legislation. It's got kind of an uphill battle here. It's got to be approved by 2/3 of the Senate to clear the mandate there, which Senate is controlled 39-20 by Democrats, but the co-sponsor of this bill is a downstate Democrat. So who knows? Silencer Co. says that it looks like the governor will sign it.
Don't you think that's an easy statement for the governor to make? Because the governor's thinking, hell, it's probably never going to make it to my desk.
Let's ignore the realities of it's got to go.
Because that downstate Democrat has nothing in common with a Chicago Democrat.
Right.
Like those people couldn't be more polar opposite.
Yep.
Downstate Democrat, that's probably could be a conservative blue collar Democrat, which is not anything like a Chicago area Democrat.
Yep, absolutely right. So we shall see. Iowa legalized it here last year, and Iowa has traditionally been a very, very blue state. So I have hope sometime in the near future that Illinois could do it. I think our governor probably would sign it, but it's got to get to him first. What's interesting here is why it requires 2/3 of the vote is that it's written to take effect immediately upon signature of the governor.
As opposed to what, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days?
No idea.
That's interesting why it was written like that, because if it's not written like that, it doesn't need 2/3 of the vote.
That's my impression, but I'm just a podcaster. So, would-be robbers make mistake of targeting the Chicago shop where concealed carry permit holder works. 2 or 3 robbers broke into this place, and a guy with a valid carry permit drew and defended himself. Wounded 2 of them. The other one ran away, and they ended up arresting all 3 of them. And then towards the end of this, there's actually a companion story where there is a few hours later another armed assault against a couple females that were walking down the street, and that went quite differently because they were unarmed and they both got injured. They survived, but really goes to show, having a gun can make all the difference when protecting your life, especially in Chicago.
It's any city, man.
Yep.
We use Chicago as an example all the time, but all cities are like this. It's just Chicago's a little bit worse.
Chicago's lovely, especially this time of year. CZ sets sights on concealed carry market with new striker-fired pistol. John, I believe you covered this a little bit. Can you hit a few key points on this?
So this is basically CZ's attempt at taking a chunk out of the quote-unquote Glock 19 market. That kind of jack-of-all-trades carry gun market that's not super exciting. Like traditionally, CZ's designs are pretty cool. They're hammer-fired guns, and that's what they do, right? So now they've got a gun that has a lot of features that a lot of people would really like. A lot of slide serrations, ambi slide stop, and mag release. Got a texture similar to the current Gen 4 Glocks, maybe a little bit enlarged version of that. Replaceable back straps. I think it's 15-round magazine, 17-round available. The trigger is also supposed to be phenomenal, according to Tim at Military Arms Channel. And yeah, this is CZ going after Glock. Glock has been riding on top for a long time, right? We can all agree that the Glock 19 is one of the most popular handguns in the world. And here's CZ taking a swing at him, and good on him.
What's funny though, John? Like, I never even, if I said, okay, tomorrow I'm going to go down and buy a new handgun, like CZ wouldn't even pop in my head as a gun I would look at. Like, it wouldn't even be like in my top 10.
Really?
Yeah, it's just not. It's never been on my radar, and maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe it's just the shops I go to, but it's interesting. But I would agree, Glock 19 is definitely probably one of the most popular guns in the world.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna attempt to get my hands on one of these just to try it. If it is as good as Tim's saying it is, and who knows? Maybe it becomes something that's like unreliable, or I don't know. Who knows, right? This is very, very early on. It just got approved for shipping into the U.S. They're talking about early 2017. It's a 9mm model now, but they're talking about potentially a
10 mil.
Yeah, right. Talking about a 40 cal. Maybe late 2017, early 2018, but who knows? This could be very cool. And me personally, I think that guns like this are very, very good because they drive competition. And what does competition do? Drive innovation and lower prices.
Yeah, and CZ's really known for quality. They're not known for putting out, shoddy product at all. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. You never hear anybody say anything negative about CZ quality.
Yeah. So. Let's go to Vortex. They announced a new holographic sight. Any Vortex
I did not know this.
Yeah, we'll see what this looks like when it comes out.
That looks like that Harmon sight or whatever the heck it was. It looks very similar to that, or maybe I'm way off base. Let me look that up.
So it's the Razor AMG UH1.
That's Hartman.
They're calling it in-house. They're calling it the Huey. Operates on a CR123 battery. Also has a waterproof micro USB report where you could use a rechargeable 123 style battery with it, which is very interesting.
Let me plug my sight in here.
Yeah, I gotta plug my gun in. Hang on, guys.
Oh, you could take one of those portable batteries, like strap it to your rail and run a power source to it.
I'm putting this in the notes here so you guys can all look. This company called Hartman does a site that looks a lot like that. Just, I don't think it's the exact same thing, but it looks a lot like it.
Yeah, it's similar in shape.
Yeah, the more I click back and forth, the more it does look different. But good on them. I'm glad that there's companies stepping up to take EOTech's place, because I don't know that anybody's ever going to take EOTech seriously again.
What about Remington? Is anyone going to ever take Remington serious again? How will Remington pay for the trigger settlement, which could be as much as $487 million, which totals more than half of Remington's total revenue for last
Not
year?
with the R51, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you see them on the investor conference call last week where they said that they would, the CEO said, I have no idea how we'll pay for it, but that it would be negotiated down to a realistic sum. I guess it's all speculation until the judge says, everybody can speculate. I mean, 487 million or 100 million. I mean, who knows? They're going to have to sell a lot more of those.
They're gonna have to make better guns to sell.
I think that statement right there. They're gonna have to sell ...
I was having a hard time coming up with it. Yeah.
The 700s are junk now. The 870s are apparently junk now. What do they make that people want?
To have this big of a blow, this big of a settlement happen to their maybe number one or number two, bread and butter gun that has served them well for decades, and to have this settlement come about, it's a huge blow to them. I'm not sure they're going to recover anytime soon.
And this may be an unpopular thing to say, but they did it to themselves. They should deal with it. I don't feel bad. This is the same way I didn't feel bad for Colt. You dig your own grave.
They don't get a choice.
Guinness refuses shooting record due to danger posed to general public.
Oh, John, you participated in this.
I'm wearing the shirt right now.
I know.
I'm there. I was there. It was a thing.
So 1,000 rifles being shot at one time sounds pretty dangerous, John. I don't know.
So I'm gonna, let me make sure I can actually say this publicly. Hold, please. I need to make sure.
John,
it was so dangerous I can't talk about it.
How many laggers were in that firing line there? How long did it take for 1,000 rounds to go off?
Dude, so hold on. They did a really good job of getting everybody to shoot at the same time. So you would assume that it would be like bang, 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 right? Like it would just tumble down. But what they did was they made and it was a little drawn out, but they made everybody go up to the firing line and dry fire. So it was everybody go up to the firing line, 1,000 people go up to the firing line, move the lever forward. They're like, shoulder the rifle, aim down the sights, move the lever forward, close the lever, now pull the trigger, click, and you hear 1,000 clicks, and it's the loudest thing on earth. It's really weird. So they did that twice, right, to kind of coordinate this. And then we all, this is back and forth, and we get up on the line, and they do the same kind of calls, except we've got rounds in the guns now. They were all loaded by the RSOs and whatnot. And on the range I was on, because they had it broken down into 3 ranges, red, white, and blue range. I was on the middle range, which is the white range. And I'm pretty sure Whitey was also there, and there was a couple other gun YouTuber guys. And I think I only heard maybe 2 guys, maybe. It's funny. There's an overhead shot, like a slow-mo shot that somebody took, and looking down, and you can actually see a round like dip into the dirt, like halfway down range. But other than that, it was actually way different than I wasn't sure what it would sound like, what it would feel like to be on that line. But the sound that I heard wasn't the shots being fired. It was the sound bouncing off the berm and coming back. That was like a cannon. It was so strange. There's no way to describe it without having been on a firing line full of people. And I don't know how many people have ever been there, but you see those classic shots of like Civil War reenactments where everybody's like, load, and they just, they go to town and then they all shoot at once, and you see this kind of like almost staggered but still very concise shooting. It was like that, but it was a 22. There's so many different experiences going on. I think it was really cool. I'm still trying to find that email because I got caught up in my story here, but there is some news about this. I'm sorry, keep going and I'll come back.
All right, while John checks with his attorney, how one woman went from being afraid of guns to daily CCW carrier. This is on masf.co. Our brother Braca runs MASF. Pretty good article about a wife, full-time stay-at-home mother of 3, about how she became a concealed carrier daily. Going from where she was scared of guns all the way to carrying one every day. Pretty good article. Just wanted to put that in the show notes for you guys to check that out. Well, I'm offended. John's taking too long here. I'm offended. Somebody's offended here. Maybe not me. Trump denounces hints at consequences for flag. Oh no! Why? Who put this in here, Billy?
I can see the rage already.
I didn't put it. What are you talking about? I don't know anything that you're talking about, Jake.
Oh, come on. I saw you do a Facebook post on this. Trump tweeted, he said nobody should be allowed to burn the American flag. If they do, there must be consequences, perhaps loss of citizenship or a year in jail.
Okay.
Your thoughts.
So first, there's one thing. Let's first acknowledge a few facts. In 1989, the Supreme Court already ruled that flag burning is protected by First Amendment speech. I want to point something out so I don't get a bunch of emails. I think people that burn the U.S. flag are douchebags. Okay? That's my personal opinion. I still believe people should have the right to do it. And I don't believe, because the majority of Americans disagree with something, that a right should be taken away. That's exactly the purpose we have rights. I know vast majority of Americans think this should be illegal, but that's the exact reason we have a constitution and we have rights, is to protect the minority from the majority. And the speech that we should be protecting the most is the speech that we find most vile. It's the speech we find disgusting. It's the hate speech. It's the white supremacist speech. It's the Black Panther speech. It's the speech that at the end of the day, most Americans go, holy crap, that's some horrible stuff some people are spewing right there. That's why we have the First Amendment. That's why so many Americans have died protecting this country. It's to defend scumbags' rights to say those things and to do those actions. And that's basically how I feel about it.
I'm right there with him.
And then another thing. If you own something and it's your personal property, do you really think that there is something that the government would say is so sacred that you cannot own, and that they have the right to come onto your property while you are destroying your own personal property and lock you up and put you in jail? I mean, it's also a personal property issue too. And we're not talking about the douchebags out there that are going ripping flags down poles at courthouses and burning them. Of course, that's stealing. right? We're not talking about someone stealing a flag and burning it. There's plenty of protesters out there that go and buy flags and then go on the sidewalk and burn them. They're douchebags. I get it. But I surely can't imagine a country where that person should be locked up in prison. I mean, I just can't imagine what that country is. And, you know, my father's coffin was wrapped in an American flag, just like so many other Americans out there were. And those people fought to protect the Constitution. And whether you like it or not, that means douchebags doing douchebag things. That's what it means. How many times did I say douchebag there?
A lot.
I don't know.
It's okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
I forgive you.
it's the nicest way to say what I really feel about those people.
Once I saw that article and some of the comments people were leaving, I couldn't get it through. I couldn't understand their position as to, I support the Constitution and the right to free speech, but ban that. That's not how it works, dude. Not even close. And I know we went through this ad nauseum on Facebook the other day.
So I found the thing I was looking for.
Cool.
It was actually an email not from Henry, but from the NRA, because they also participated in that 1,000-man shoot. The record was confirmed by the World Record Academy. Guinness was lame about it. So the World Record Academy confirmed that it is a world record. Woohoo. I know that's a little bit anticlimactic, but I wanted to share that.
What the hell is the World Record Academy?
Yeah, precisely. But hey, whatever. Whatever we need to do to feel better about it.
Do people still buy those books?
I hope not.
Hmm.
The internet exists. We get told that there's things that are shocking and the best ever every day.
This clothing company CEO doesn't want guns in his stores.
That's nothing new.
Can I respond with one sentence and then we can move on from this guy?
Well, wait let me share who it is and what brand. So it's Levi's CEO Chip Berg. I guess there was an accidental discharge in one of his Georgia Levi stores. This is where this is coming from. What's your statement, John?
Your jeans are not comfortable. Shut up. Moving on.
Okay, moving on. 10 right-wing companies that conservatives should support.
What makes these right-wing companies?
Well, this is actually Liberals Unite blog, or liberal. It's some liberal blog saying that 10 right-wing companies that every progressive should boycott. So somebody put up a post that all conservatives should support these because all liberals are losing their minds about these. And I thought I'd just run down the list because I support a lot of these companies.
So first of all, I had number 1 for lunch today, and it was delectable.
It's always good.
Number 2 is Hobby Lobby. Number 3 is Carl's Jr. Excellent choice. Number 4 is Walmart. Number 5 is Marriott Hotels. Number 6 is Waffle House. Number 7 is Angel Soft, Brawny, and Dixie. I mean, where else do you get your toilet paper? Number 8 is ExxonMobil. Number 9
I'm not sure I'm going to support Exxon no matter what.
Hold on a second. Number 7, Dixie? Are these people not going to play beer pong in college anymore? Oh, no, those are solo cups. Never mind. Sorry, it's been a while.
Dixie. I was like, wow, that's a really small game.
Oh, no, you just fill the table with Dixie cups.
They're playing it with ball bearings, and they're going hard in the paint.
Well, it's liquor. It's not beer.
Cracker Barrel's number 9, and Urban Outfitters number 10.
Since when is Urban Outfitters a conservative brand? The amount of hipsters in that place is unbearable.
Yeah, that one surprises me.
You know what, guys? I want to buy like a frame that has like a napkin in it, but it's tie-dye, but it's in a frame. So I'm going to put that on my wall.
Hipster, dude.
It is now.
Tie-dye is so like
They framed it,
1980.
dude.
Come on.
1980?
What?
Triggered.
Wait, hold on.
I'm
All right,
triggered.
so I'm going to say something about these. Most of this crap is not about the company itself. These are conservative. No, these are the opinions of the owners, and what the owners do with their money has nothing to do with the company itself.
No,
like
it's
the
not.
Chick-fil-A quote unquote anti-gay thing. It's not. They're not anti. The company is not anti-gay.
They'll take
Well,
your money too.
It's not even. It's the perceived, stance of the owners. It's not even the actual stance in most cases here, or the actual carried out stance. It's it's ridiculous. But anyways,
I don't care. Chick-fil-A could go out there. The owner of Chick-fil-A could go down to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, take a baby out of the stroller, punch it in the face, and I would still buy a sandwich tomorrow because they're
No,
Because
delicious.
it's delicious.
no, we could find out Chick-fil-A was actually made from babies, and we'd still go and eat there tomorrow.
If it was legal.
Are we talking baby chickens?
Is that where they get nuggets? No? Nobody? All right, screw you guys.
Triggered some scared by cardboard rifles used to advertise gun shop.
That's
It's
amazing.
big. Ah!
So you've seen these sign twirlers out with doing the pizza shop deal, twirling a pizza box or giant made up pizza, cardboard pizza, or furniture store doing a sign twirl. Well, the gun shop decided to do some cardboard AR-15 scary black rifles, some giant, oversized AR-15 style cardboard cutouts, and people lost their minds.
Did it have a bullet button installed? Maybe that was the problem.
That was probably it. It was California. They probably weren't California legal cardboard cutouts.
It's got the shoulder thing that goes up.
Oh, not the barrel shroud.
Oh my god.
Overflow, way too many stories to cover this week. We're going to skip these stories, but you can find them in the show notes at firearmsradio.tv. You can also pledge at firearmsradio.tv/pledge. If you pledge at the after show level, you can hang out with us after the show every other week and talk about some of these extra stories. Amazon, you can contribute this holiday season to Amazon. Contribute to the Firearms Radio Network and This Week in Guns by shopping the affiliate link. Just click the Amazon banners before shopping online. And Amazon, they captured 31% of online spending on the cyber weekend here.
Yeah, it's insane. That's why stuff still hasn't shipped.
The nearest competitor is Best Buy at a measly 7%. And then it goes down from there. Target, Walmart, Macy's. Who shops online at Macy's? Kohl's, Nordstrom's, Apple.
There's a lot of grandmas out there online shopping, man.
I guess. Yeah, they got their tech. But yeah, Amazon's a monster in the online space. It's kind of fascinating article. I just put it in here under the Amazon affiliate link.
I clicked onto this website, CNBC, and it came up and said something about leaving your ad blocker on. Yeah, hi, CNBC. I'm going to leave it on because I don't want your garbage shoved down my throat. Thanks, bye.
I had like 4 news sites today pop that up on me.
They're all doing it now. They won't let you see the news content until you turn your ad blocker on.
Guess what? I'll find it elsewhere.
Yeah. Shop that Amazon affiliate link at firearmsradio.tv. Just click the Amazon banners or firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. There's also a search bar. If you search for an item, that also counts. Just so you get to Amazon somehow through our site. That's all you got to do. Click through firearmsradio.tv. Just use it as a portal, then find what you're looking for, and you can support Pro Gun Radio. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and we really appreciate it. We're to the full auto news segment, the stories the real media won't talk about and other crazy stuff. Each of the hosts picks a story to call their own here. While you guys are picking your stories, I want everyone else to head on over to JWB Military and Brass. That's right. They have awesome, ready-to-load, fully prepped brass, and also some pretty cool AR-500 steel targets. They come in a couple different thicknesses, come in all different sizes, from teeny tiny 2-inch sizes to 16-inch gongs. High quality AR-500 steel targets that will last for years. Go over to jwbmilitary.com or just Google JWB Military and Brass. Check them out. All right, Billy, you got something?
Okay, I typically don't pick the gun ones. I mean the gunny ones, the real technical ones, but I'm going to pick this one. So I don't know how many of you saw the fully concealable FCG17 80% Glocker receiver. So
right, John called dibs on that, and you.
Keep going.
Did you? I didn't even see it, John.
It's fine. I'll find it.
I've had it. Well, you can jump on and talk about more of the technical aspects because I don't really know much about an 80% pistol. I have plenty of 80%, receivers for ARs.
Oh, now the government knows. Way to go.
That's true. I just outed myself. Okay. So anyway, so this is a 80% receiver that you can mill out yourself, put a Glock slide on it. But what's really interesting about this is they're selling it as this compact unit that the magazine stores up next to the barrel. So it doesn't print like a typical handgun. So the stupidity of this is not only, I mean, this takes the whole, I don't keep a round in the pipe, because I'm afraid of the gun going off. Now, this takes it a whole nother step further. I don't even keep the magazine in the gun. I mean, how idiotic this thing is to me personally. I mean, I'd almost just rather carry a brick with me than carry this thing.
Or a knife.
Or a knife. I've got to pull this thing out of my pants. Now I've got to take the magazine out, and I've got to put the magazine in, and then the grip is actually the magazine. Now I've got to rack it. I guess I could keep one in the pipe before I put the magazine in, but then, I'm putting my hand right in front of the barrel to pull the magazine out, which, when your adrenaline's going up, probably not a good thing to do. But that's my piece about that. What do you think there, John?
That's pretty much exact. I covered this thing on TGC News this week, and it's atrocious. Like, so you're putting all kinds of torque. So if you got to rack this thing, you've got your hand on the magazine, you're putting all that torque on the mag while you're racking around into the chamber. The point I brought up on my show was that the problem with this type of thing is there's this movement, and I don't know where it's coming from, to make carry guns more complex and slower to use.
People will buy it too.
Well, there's idiots that buy everything. I mean, there just seems to be this like, oh, it's safer, it's more complex, and there's technology. And no, this is not an improvement. Stop it. That's all I got to add to that.
All right, John, did you find one?
I did. I actually watched this video, the topic video, earlier today. For those of you that are living under a rock and haven't seen a YouTube channel called Smarter Every Day, you should probably go watch that guy named Destin. He is a very, very good storyteller and educator. He took a look at something, this handheld Tesla coil. Tesla coil, I'm not going to get into explaining it. He does a much better job of explaining it than me, but typically there are things that are, stationary and, you just kind of like maybe interact with them, or they're in like a cage or whatever, and you see them and they shoot lightning, and it's really cool to watch just how electricity acts. But this person that he met up with in the video actually has a handheld model that has like a backpack. It's got like a PC on a backpack that's like water cooled, and it's got like ground straps that go down to your shoes and all this other crazy stuff, and a handheld Tesla coil that you can just like aim out and it just sends lightning out around.
That's amazing.
And it's absolutely awesome. Nikola Tesla was a incredible man, and the concepts that he came up with are wild. And on top of that, this particular video, because Destin has a high-speed camera, he filmed the lightning at 28,000 frames a second. So you can literally watch it just crawling across the screen as it kind of expands and heats up the gas. And
That's
Man.
so cool.
It's like total nerd fest.
Yeah, no, that's so awesome.
Adam, what do you got?
Everybody's favorite gorilla, Harambe.
Harambe.
A new article is out. Well, I guess it's not so new. It looks like it's about a week or so old at this point. But the zoo barrier was not up to federal standards at the Harambe exhibit. So our beloved gorilla was taken too soon because the Cincinnati Zoo failed to comply with federal standards for zoo exhibits. So I just want you all to know that.
Sounds like Harambe really got screwed.
Yeah,
I just want to say that I miss Harambe. I miss him.
Rest in peace.
Thank you, Jake.
So, a woman shot her boyfriend after he rubbed pizza in her face.
It's even better.
I contributed this one.
That's right.
You can thank me for it.
We talked about this one.
We didn't.
I swear to God, we talked about this.
No, I just sent this to Jake.
No, I'm
you
saying
couldn't have because this was November 25th.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, we talked about this weeks ago.
It just happened November 25th.
In Pennsylvania.
No, it happened on October 12th.
We talked about it. I promise, because I talked about it.
We talked about earlier today.
Well, let Jake talk about it first.
Go ahead. It's still funny.
No, it's all news.
We totally ruined it now. I'm sorry.
Can't do it now. Arg me, matey. Rebels use pirate cannon in combat. I saw this posted on Funker Tactical where these anti-Assad Corps truck has a antiquated muzzle-loading cannon mounted in the bed, which they actually fire cannonballs out of using a string firing pin where they jump off the truck, stand around the corner and pull the string to launch this cannon, and it shows them shooting at a building. Yeah, pretty funny.
Dude, you know what you're not going to want to stand in front of? That cannon.
Woo.
Any second round stories here you guys want to take? Did you guys see the video for the Los Angeles parking lot dispute that becomes a demolition derby? Two ladies.
Yeah.
Oh, boring. Man. Yeah. Boring. I mean, it was like, it could have been a little faster, but she took out a fire hydrant. It's always fun to see a fire hydrant taken out.
Yeah. Is that what I couldn't get through like the first 20 seconds of two women just like slapping each other. Like I saw this crap in high school. I went to high school with people like this.
The best demolition derby we did on the show was those front loaders in China.
Right.
That they were attacking each other in some Chinese city. It was two rival construction companies. That was the best demolition derby.
That's amazing.
That's pretty good.
Up your game, Los Angeles.
You can support the show and network. Go on over to firearmsradio.tv/pledge. You can pledge your support for as little as $5 per month. Also pledge at the after show level to hang out with us after the show. And don't forget to check out the Patriot Patch Company's Patch of the Month Club. Simmer's Patch of the Month is an awesome Santa with a silencer, Silent Night patch. PatriotPatch.co. This is a part of the show where we see what's going on in these guys' world. So, John, what is up and where can people connect with you online?
Nothing is up. TGC is getting closed down. Screw you guys. I'm going home. No, it's as busy as always. Let's see what's coming up. I'm going hunting in 2 weeks in Texas with our buddy Matt DeVito. We're going to go shoot some pigs and some ducks. That's going to be a good time. What else is happening? Christmas is coming. So there's that. All kinds of good people bought TGC swag for the Thanksgiving weekend, Black Friday weekend. So thank you to everybody that supported then. That was really cool. Definitely appreciate that. And, there's always new stuff coming down the pipe, working on all kinds of stuff for next year. Really, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I can't talk about yet. That's, potential things that are going to happen, and it's pretty cool. So obviously, if you don't know how to get a hold of me, you just go to your Google machine, just search for The Gun Collective, and you'll find me. And you will also find Mr. Adam Kraut, who is the host of The Legal Brief and has a video that's been going quote unquote semi-viral. I don't know what to call it because it's been doing very, very well over the last few days. It's about to be the #1 viewed video on the YouTube channel, which is awesome.
Have you thought about launching some shows like, they have Pimp Your Ride, you could do Pimp Your AR, or they're like This Old Nagant?
No, but that sounds like fun.
Adam, what's up, and where can people connect online?
Dude, I don't even know. I don't know which direction's up at this point. Busy with stuff at the law firm, suing people, suing things, doing stuff. Shop life is busy. TGC life is busy. Home life is busy. Getting ready for. I got to figure out what I'm doing for SHOT Show. Out at SHOT Show. I got places people to meet, things like that. But you can connect with me on Facebook. You can search for Adam Kraut. Check out the public figure page on Instagram at the Adam Kraut. My website, adamkraut.com. You can find the law blog.princelaw.com. Firearms Industry Consulting Group on Facebook. Prince Law Offices on Facebook. The Gun Collective on Facebook. Yeah, I think that's all I got.
Jesus.
Yeah, right. That's how I feel.
Jake, did you die?
Jake,
I'm done.
We can't hear you, Jake.
That pesky mute button. Billy, you have some stockings that people can buy for Christmas, in time for Christmas, right?
I do. Well, we have lots of stuff. Well, we made a bunch of multicam Christmas stockings that are actually, people always see like the Chinese ones coming across Facebook. These are actually like really nice Christmas stockings.
They are.
Like we went above and beyond making these Christmas stockings. So we got multicam black, and multicam alpine, 100% US raw materials, like almost 99% of our products. You can get them on our website, or you can get them on Amazon if you like to buy from them too. That had a great weekend sales for our Black Cyber weekend. That was awesome. And for all the people waiting for more Apogee belts, we will have some before Christmas. But based on the wait list that we have going on, and people don't get to see it, but the wait list that people are signing up for on our website, we're not going to have enough to meet the wait list. So when you get the email that says they're in stock, don't wait till you wake up the next morning, because there's a good chance they will be gone. So, and they should be, these are going to be about two weeks. They're coming back from anodize, I believe, tomorrow by the time we get them assembled and packaged and out to the shipping warehouses. It'll probably be about 2 weeks from today. And that's about it. Hate mail can go to billy@boxertactical.com. If you want to see about my dogs amidst the noise on Instagram, dogs, and I also rip on politicians there. And Boxer Tactical Instagram is what I do for a living.
Very cool. That brings us to leaving your feedback by commenting on the bottom of the YouTube video or the bottom of the show notes or on Facebook. Leave your review over on iTunes. Also, you can contribute using that Amazon affiliate link. Some people are saying they're having an issue. Amazon kind of changed their affiliate links and stuff. So head back on over to firearmsradio.tv/Amazon, and I put some text links in there. You can plain text. You can click plain text Amazon link there. Try that again. That should work for you. But that about wraps us up. So thank you, John.
Hey, thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Billy.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
That's a wrap. We'll see you next week.